And she said, I love this picture talk stuff. I want to make it work. And I said, no problem. You just load it and it'll work. Did it work?
No.
No, it didn't work. And I said, no problem. Make this change and change the setting, and then it'll work. Did it work?
No.
No, it didn't work. And then we said, we'll try one more thing. And did it work? No, it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. Is it working yet?
No.
It's still not working. Is she still working on it? Yes. Are we going to give up on it? No. She's had all the right answers. I just pull this little cord right here and have a seat. You owe Wanda a big round of applause because she's helping you. But the learning gap doesn't apply just to technology. How many of you feel like this guy? How many of you got piles? How many of you suffer from piles? Not those kind, mister. Come on. Right? You've got piles at home. You got piles of journals. A lot of you are engineers. You got your engineering journals, right? How big is the pile? About this big. How did you ever get started?
I had a head injury, and I'd gotten on the...
So does that mean we have to be crazy to be on the internet?
Man, we just got to get more productive. I mean, the competition is eating us alive. Nah, what we really need is better marketing and drive more sales. But times are tough. I mean, who can afford that? Hey, I just like to make sure I can get a new job in case we get Enroned. Look, Bubba, I can't wait. I could use a job right now. I just wish I could get this techno stuff to work. Hi there. I'm Bill Metcalf. And if any of these comments sound familiar, well, your organization needs one of my 3 most popular programs. Number 1, closing the productivity gap. Number 2, guerrilla warfare sales and marketing tools. And number 3, making technology pay. Watch me in action, helping people overcome their limiting beliefs that keep them stuck in 20th century thinking. If you like my ideas and style, then let's talk about the specific content you need to help your organization succeed in the 21st century.
A lot of you are engineers. You got your engineering journals, right? How big is the pile? About this big. You put it there because on the next trip you took, which is this trip, you thought you'd pull out some and you'd read them, and then you'd realize there were some there from 1947, right? And then you have another pile of magazines and newspapers. Then you got another pile of just the company information. Then you've got another pile of all the government regulations that you ought to keep up with. And you sort of start to feel like this person, don't you? How many of you feel like that? You got just too much information. Let me ask you, if you could stop all the email, all the voicemail, all the faxes, all the journals, all the newspapers, everything for one day, how long would it take you to catch up? A month? Somebody said a year over here. It takes a long time. Maybe we need to rethink how we think about knowledge and information. Herbert Simon is a Nobel laureate. He says, we've changed the meaning of the word to know. It used to mean to hold in one's memory. It now means the process of being able to find information and act upon it. Do you understand what a major change that is? See, most of you get so frustrated because you can't keep up because you're working on an old paradigm that says, I got to take all that information, I got to study it, I got to put it in my head, and I got to spit it back. Where did you learn that? In school. We all follow the same paradigm. There is a right answer. The teacher knows it. My job is to figure out what the teacher knows, spit it back on a test. They give me a piece of paper. They say I'm smart. But again, as my mentor in this business, Dan Burris, likes to say, if you got a PhD 7 years ago, it just means you used to know a lot. I have a PhD that's much older than 7 years. I don't know nothing no more. But you know, maybe I don't need to think about knowledge in the same way. Maybe it's not cramming it in. Maybe it's processing it real time. Although technology is causing much of the overload that you're facing, I also believe that technology is the one thing that can be used to lighten your load if you use it. Let me give you the best way I know to close the learning gap.
My programs are right for both big business and small.
Who do you know that's doing some interesting stuff? So she introduced me to Charlie. Charlie, tell him who you are and what's your company.
I'm Charlie Lee
Hold
with
this up a little higher. There you go.
Birdwatchers Marketplace, and we've been on the net now for about 4.5 years.
Let me ask, how many of you have been to his physical location? There's a few hands. Does it look like a real high-tech spa? A kind of place where you're going to have computer geeks hanging out all over the place?
No, he's in the back room.
He's in the back room, and this looks like To me, no offense, it looks like a gift shop I've seen 1,000 times. Now, they happen to be in birds in that area, but still, it looks like a small gift shop. Doesn't look like a mecca of technology. How did you ever get started?
I had a head injury, and I'd gotten on the...
So does that mean we have to be crazy to be on the internet?
Mary Freebet had got me on computers, and I got out on the net, and we had the store, and there was really nobody out there selling the products that we had. And so I bought this book, Teach Yourself Web Publishing in a Week, and it took me about 3 months, and I built...
That's pretty good, folks.
I built our first website, but Bill stopped in the store yesterday and wanted to talk to me for a minute, and my wife Debbie said, well, you know, he's in the back room, and he's back there packaging for today's shipment. They're going to be here in an hour, and we've been doing this all day long. We spend our days packaging to meet the UPS truck every day now.
The pile of packages was over his head. These boxes were only about 3 inches deep. He had piles of them there, and this was just what came in over the weekend?
Yes.
And what happened when you had a highway problem in your community?
Most people know that Plainfield had a major construction project last year, and if it hadn't been for the internet, we might not be there. But just the sales for this weekend on the net were about $1,600, and we make about 40% on that. And our cost to be on the internet is $19.95 a month. Our cost to have the store is about $2,000 a month.
Enough said? Thank you, Charlie. Let's have a big hand for Charlie. How many of you love some of the ideas I've already talked about today? Yeah! How many of you think ABC ought to just make it happen for you? Yeah! Then it won't happen. Get this, no association, no school, nobody, any place can make this work for you. You have to make a personal commitment of time, money, and energy. Are we going to give up on it? No. She's had all the right answers. I just pull this little cord right here and just have a seat. You owe Wanda a big round of applause because she's helping you. Check out this video.
Web conferencing is hot now, but I've been tracking it since the mid-90s, as I showed this audience in 1997.
Yeah, I see it's starting to paint in now. How fast a connection do we have here? Because this is, sometimes it was really fast with my buddy and sometimes it was kind of slow. What speed are we here?
Well, today the phone lines are allowing me to connect at about 24,000 baud.
What kind of modem do you have?
I've got it's a US Robotics, and it's a 56K modem.
Oh, so it's not like a fancy ISDN line or something like that?
It's pretty much what's typical off the shelf today.
And can you see where I'm pointing? How long is this area here that I'm pointing to?
15 foot, you're coming out from the building wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about 5 foot further than the first picture I showed you. But it also allows those end walls to be closed so weather doesn't blow in there. It protects that door opening.
Yeah. So you think this is the way I ought to go?
Right, and it also utilizes, if you notice, those walls have no girts in them. That's that new wall panel Star has that allows us to span that new distance.
Yeah, yeah. What's that going to do to my budget?
It's not going to increase it that much more, considering the additional protection you have, and we had talked about an air compressor and a place to store it. That means I'm in Chicago, the other person is in another location, we're talking on the phone, and I get to see their computer screen. You get it? We meet out in cyberspace, and at that point, we set it up so that I can actually see their computer screen.
If you don't laugh along with technology, you might cry. My audiences prefer to laugh.
By the way, some people, I was doing the program the other day, and some guy said, get rid of the Mickey Mouse tie. Do you like my Mickey Mouse tie? Yeah. I don't think I should get rid of it. You see, I think what he didn't understand is there's a lot of Mickey Mouse involved with technology. I suffered through some of it this morning. I also think that sometimes we take ourselves way too seriously. I owe a big apology to Kevin. Kevin came walking in here this morning, happy Daffy. Kevin is from
Tell me your name of your company again.
ITS.
ITS. If you want to know anything about video conferencing, come see this guy. He is really a nice guy. He doesn't think I am right now, because when he walked in the door, I said, Kevin, the computer's dead! Fix it! They're going to be here in 20 minutes! Now, I know that you guys don't understand that attitude. And I know that those of you who work on a help desk have never had a call like that. And when it's from the surgeon who's holding a heart in his hand, it's kind of hard to be anyway. I'm sorry, Kevin.
It's a typical Monday morning.
A typical Monday morning. Yeah, yeah. Say that after this thing works, Kevin. I don't know. And it's always the difficult stuff, isn't it? It wasn't plugged in, Bill.
Well, thanks for watching, folks. This has been Bill Metcalf, and I just can't wait to tailor a program just for your group. Please contact me through the number you find on the label of this tape.